And we've talked about the ice that's underneath your feet. We've talked about the ice underneath your tires, but you want to think about this winter storm and look above for a moment. The trees. Trees are going to be a major thing to watch out for as we continue to talk about preparations. I actually spoke to a certified arborist on how they're preparing to help people in the event that a tree could fall onto your home, could cut power lines in your area, and cause significant damage in this winter ice storm. For that, I'm going to take you out to that interview as we talk about what to look out for above during these winter conditions. And joining me now is John Powell, a certified arborist with the Arborguard Davey company. And John, thank you so much for joining me here on Atlanta News First Plus as we are anticipating in the coming days this winter weather system and a lot of people thinking about their groceries, thinking about their home, thinking about their vehicle. I feel like trees get overlooked, and it is one of those things that you don't realize until it's happened to you. A large tree has fallen on your house due to a strong storm, and then many folks are like, where do I go? So let's start by talking about this winter weather system and the tree impacts. What are you guys hearing as you prepare to head into this weekend?
So we got all our ducks in a row. We're ready to go. We're gassed up. We're fueled up. The crew, our crews, thankfully we have really great crews, and everyone's mentally and physically prepared for this. We don't know where or when it's going to hit. Some areas are impacted more than others. In Atlanta, we do have a lot of storms, a lot of pop-up tornadoes. For the most part, seems like nature cleanses itself. So all the really, really bad, weak trees have been knocked down. However, we have ice involved in this. And it's wintertime. Most of the leaves are down and most of the trees are bare. However, we have a lot of pine trees, a lot of ornamental evergreens. They are most likely going to be impacted the most, especially if there's a pretty strong wind gust after that. So very large limb failure. Some trees may get complete failure, meaning they come up out of the soil because due to the weight. Other trees to worry about would be asymmetrical shaped oak trees with really heavy, long, elongated limbs. Trees that aren't just evenly shaped, right? They're either longer on one side or longer than the other. That's because of codominant limbs. So you'll get some big, really big, large branch breakage as well. That could be very heavy and very destructive.
You mentioned the ice, and that is a major threat that we're following. What in this winter storm specifically is the main point that you are focused on that would probably or could bring the most damage to trees?
It's going to be the ice accumulation, that the branches are not used to this weight and pressure. And then if the storm system's going to go the way it is, we're supposed to have this really strong wind gust. That's going to cause some serious damage. You're going to get a lot of breaking, a lot of failing of trees. Um, Obviously there's power lines everywhere in the metro Atlanta area, and there's trees everywhere. So most likely there's going to be power outages and trees down and trees blocking roads. I don't want to give the worst case scenario, but we're expecting some of this stuff to happen.
We're preparing for the worst, hoping for the best, as always. If I'm a homeowner, I have this tree that has been sitting in my yard or near my home really since I've moved in. What do I need to start thinking about now?
Well, it might be a little bit too late now, but moving forward, if everything works out the way we would like it to work out, if you do have large trees on your property, close to your house, by your driveway, say your property comes to a corner where there's a bus stop, these are areas where you have a lot of activity, human activity, people living in dwellings. And, I would recommend you get an arborist out there twice a year to check your trees. It only takes within an hour, a few times a year. You have to look at arborists as if we are like the dentist. We need to check up on them twice a year. And then about depending on the type of tree and how big, every between 2.5 and 5 years, you should have some type of maintenance pruning done. And that would be taking some weight out, reducing weight on branch ends, pruning out dead limbs that can potentially fall out during storms and strike objects or people. Just an overall basic maintenance, I would say every 2.5 to 5 years if you do have large mature trees.
Yeah, really good advice is always thinking ahead and looking out, past your home into the surrounding area. I know that this winter storm is just around the corner, and it might be too late to actually take tangible steps to make sure that a tree doesn't fall onto your house. But let's say that we do still want to take some precautions. For example, moving from one room to another. Is there anything that you typically see where you would encourage people to take small steps to keep themselves protected?
Yeah, designate a room if you do have a large tree on the front left corner or the rear right corner. Maybe have a team meeting or a family meeting, sorry, with your family. And if the ice does accumulate and you know the wind's howling, really all just have a room to go to or have a way to exit the household.
Yeah, excellent advice. We talk about the trees in the area taking out power and causing significant damage. In the event that this does happen, what are the first steps that someone should take? I know typically we hear people calling 911, and we don't necessarily know who is the right person to contact when a tree does fall onto your house.
I'm glad you asked this question. That's a really good question. It took me actually a few years in Atlanta to figure out how to process all this because there's all these different jurisdictions, right, on an actual neighborhood and a road. So if a road is blocked, what I was told is that you call the fire department. They're in charge of keeping the roadways clear for emergencies. Um, Obviously, you call your power company, your local EMC, Georgia Power, if there is catastrophic power outages, trees on power lines. Do not go near any wire. Any wire on the ground can be holding energy. Do not touch any wires. Really try to avoid going near trees that are pinning down wires. If it's wet out, if it's raining, you don't want to walk on wet surfaces near these trees where they're grounded with power lines. So be very cautious and very, I don't want to say afraid, but understand there's usually a great threat when there's lines down.
Typically, I know during winter weather or significant storm events, you all get very busy. What are you starting to hear as you go into this weekend?
We're getting a lot of phone calls to look at properties right now, so that's a good thing. So it's a stimulating activity. Um, Most of our clients that do residual maintenance on their trees usually have less storm damage to their house, to their trees, and to their property. So if you haven't had anyone come look at your trees, this could be a good wake up call for an arborist to come out, start a relationship with your arborist, just like you have a dentist, and just touch base with them and just have them come out and take a look. And
Cer-
if they find something, they will write it up and make recommendations.
Well said. I want to make sure that I didn't leave anything out. Is there anything that you want to make sure people know? We head into this type of storm. A lot of people learn new ways to prepare and protect themselves. I want to make sure nothing is left unsaid, especially as we talk about trees and arborist work.
Um, we live in an age of everyone's on their laptop or cell phones, and a lot of people are focused looking at the GPS, looking at the phone screen, looking at the computer. I would just say be a lot more observant of your surroundings. Every once in a while, stop and look up. Is this the place to stand when it's windy? Is this the place to park my vehicle, waiting for my kids to get out of school? Just look up, be observant. Sometimes you can watch the trees too. If you don't like the way a tree is moving, really think about a way how to get away from this tree before it can fall or fail towards you.
John Powell, thank you so much for joining us here on ANF Plus. We are going to continue your weather coverage here on air and online. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Thank you.